or then you really are getting into really very shaky legal territory. Is it all right to just go around knocking off leaders of governments? Probably not. So I'm going to say no. It wouldn't have been the best.
Okay, the last question.
Could you elaborate a bit more about what the implications will be of his death for the future of Libya, and also what the difference would have been if he would actually been captured and prosecuted?
Okay, well, as I say, I think, you know, and I'm conscious of what I said with the previous point about, you know, if he'd just been knocked off, would that necessarily have caused the collapse of the regime? Possibly not. With the regime disintegrated as it was, come the fall of the Bab al-Azizia compound on the 23rd of August. With that, once Gaddafi had gone, then that, that's it for the regime. So what do I think his death means for the future of Libya? I think that it means that now, psychologically and practically, this conflict can come to a close in a way that it couldn't have done before, and that this reconciliation process can take place. And incidentally, this is something I said very clearly throughout this conflict, that this cannot be a war of retribution, that there has got to be very quick reconciliation between the NTC and former regime enemies. You've got to incorporate as many of those into your regime, post-regime architecture as possible. Unfortunately, the NTC does see that, and I think that is their plan. Because, firstly, not only if you don't, do you deprive yourself of those expertise, but you also create an extremely antagonistic constituency at a very fragile transitional phase that will cause you great difficulties in the future. We saw by how difficult it was for the NTC forces to take cert 2 months. That this is not, a crack army of special forces. They are a pretty ragtag bunch. The reason why Tripoli, Zawiya, Garian, these towns fell so quickly was precisely because the NTC pursued the strategy of encouraging uprisings and defections, not because there was significant military exchanges. Where there have been military exchanges, as I say, it's been very difficult. So now that Gaddafi's gone, that figurehead is gone, it is possible to extend that olive branch pretty comprehensively. It's important that it does happen. Would it have been better for him to be, did you say would it have been better to be killed or captured? Was that a question?
No, I was asking you.
Well, as I say, I think it would have been better had he been captured. The difficulty is, there's two difficulties. One, that there would have been a conflict between the NTC and the international community, because The Hague wants him for war crimes. The Libyans probably will want to try him internally. And is he going to get a fair trial internally? Well, as I say, I think that would be a very good case for the NTC to have been able to showcase that it can be more accountable. And I probably would advocate having it inside Libya and having some international support to help solidify the process. I would have preferred that, but that was the first danger, was to be that conflict. The second danger would be that a la Slobo, a la Saddam, not Saddam, that he would have used this to, well, no, yes, Saddam Hussein, used his, the trial just as basically as a soapbox to just condemn everyone left, right and centre and be hugely disruptive, and I don't know, serve as a rallying point for loyalists. Then again, maybe now that he's dead, he's a bit of a martyr. But I think on balance, I would have preferred for him to be captured. But at the end of the day, this wasn't, again, this is not a civil situation. This was a conflict. And, the reports are that he was hit by a NATO strike whilst trying to leave and died afterwards. It may be that he was executed. I don't know. I don't think any of us know. But no, I'd have preferred if he had been captured.
Thank you.
The termination of the air conditioning.
Okay. Thank you very much, George. I'd like to thank my Politics Society executive team, Jennifer Parker and Lo, for their hard work and for arranging the event. And for most, the Student Union President Rob Scully, thank you very much for arranging all this in a bit of a very short time period. And we will just now have a kind of a refreshment and a kind of networking. It's just to be